favorite sci-fi author? And it doesn't have to be one, but it's someone you really love.
Uh, yeah, there's probably William Gibson.
Okay.
I love William Gibson stuff. Um, yeah, his stuff I go back to. I just reread a lot of it last year actually. So
Is there a
yeah,
specific one that you really found resonated?
like the second his stuff kind of goes in trilogies, and everyone kind of talks about Neuromancer in that first trilogy, which is great. But I love the second one. It was the Bridge trilogy. I don't know if you ever read that one, but that one, I love that one. It was with this whole kind of community of people living on the San Francisco Bridge and kind of building it up into layers, and it was just a really beautifully realized world. I love that book.
What do you love about Canada and what do you loathe?
Oh my God. What do I love about Canada? I love how our population's still relatively low compared to the space that we have. So it's very easy to find big, open, quiet spaces here still to spend time in. I love that. Obviously, I love hockey, even though it's a cliche. I do enjoy it. What do I hate? I don't know. I mean, I hate the same things you probably hate about the US. I hate the bigotry and the closed-mindedness and all that stuff that comes with being human and being amongst other humans.
Is having the healthcare you have nice or it's still a giant pain in the ass?
I I thought it was nice until I needed it. So, when I was, when you're younger and you don't really have a lot of medical stuff going on, thankfully, you're like, oh yeah, we have free healthcare. It's amazing. And then my son hasn't been well this past year, and we're realizing, okay, maybe it's not so great because it may be free, but we have to wait a long time to get anything done, and that's can be very frustrating. Whereas in the States, you can go and pay and get it done right away if you can afford it.
That's
So,
a big if though, because
if you
here
can afford it,
they
yeah,
will drag you through the mud unless you private concierge it, and that stuff is
yeah.
legit
So
expensive.
I think they both have their yeah, it's not as utopian as it seems.
Okay, good to know because again, the fantasy is very pervasive here. When you got your first big payday, what did you buy with the money you got?
I've never really been one to that's into things. The only thing I ever buy is comics. It's so sad. So I probably bought some big hardcover comic that I couldn't afford before I had my paycheck. Yeah, I'm not into anything sort of cars or houses or any of that stuff. So it's all just buy more books.
Well, my hope was it was going to be something unexpected. So if you had
Buy
said
some
like,
books.
a Mercedes, I would have been like, oh, that's disappointing.
Yeah, probably art supplies and books. That's all I like spending my money on still.
What did your parents want you to be?
I don't know. They were actually really good about not ever kind of expressing, like never pushing me to be
Oh.
anything I want to be, I grew up in a small town. It was very rural and everyone was, I didn't know anyone who did anything in art in any art form. Like everyone was a farmer, a factory worker, a teacher, like very practical things. And it would have been very easy for them to pressure me to follow something safe like that, but they were always really good. Like they let me leave and go to film school in Toronto, which seemed crazy, and art school. And when I spent 10 years making mini comics and working in a restaurant, they were, I'm sure, worried about me, but never really pushed me. I got to say they were pretty great.
That's awesome. I would
Yeah,
not have expected that answer, but that's awesome. Do you prefer line drawings or fully colored images?
definitely line drawings. Color's more of a necessity kind of sometimes for print, but just the pure kind of just making lines on paper, you can't beat that. Yeah.
I know you answered who you influenced you and who you love, but I'm curious specifically, what are your go-to graphic novels? The books
There's
themselves.
Yeah, for sure. Cages by Dave McKean. I don't know if you know that book, but Dave McKean is a British. He's most well known for doing all the cover artwork on the Sandman series for Neil Gaiman, but he did his own graphic novel called Cages in the 90s, I believe, which is it kind of it's not really about anything. It's about this building in the UK and it's just all the people who live in this building and how their lives intersect and it's just about real lives and people, and it's just so gorgeously drawn. And the artwork is very minimalistic, very very stark black and white lines. So it was really influential on me, and I still my favorite. And I go back to Seth's books. He did a book called Clyde Fans, which follows these two brothers across generations. And I love those two. Those are the ones I always go back to. Yeah.
Is there any non-comic artist? Well, we talked about this briefly, but just in case there's anyone else, besides like Lynch and Cave
Yeah.
and anyone else that you find yourself continually drawn to?
I don't know if continually the same way as those two. Like those two have throughout my life, I've always gone back to their work all the time, and I still do. And I don't know if there's anyone else quite like that. I find different influences at different stages and really get into them. Maybe Murakami, the novelist.
Oh,
He's pretty huge too. I didn't mention him, but yeah, so that would be one. Him, just his, what we talked about, sort of the blending of reality and the otherworldly sort of things, but never going so far that it becomes genre or becomes supernatural, but it's just sort of this strange dreamlike, you
fugue
know.
state.
Yeah, I love that in his work, and it's obviously very influential.